Hello and welcome to the show. So, inspiring people has been my theme for the last couple of weeks, and Ammaarah Petersen is here now. I initially started looking at her story wondering how does she fit into the inspiring people, but I must tell you something. She's got a story and a half, and part of it is that I noticed an amount of energy that she exudes, and this is what I've been talking about. If people are following my Twitter and following my Facebook and understanding that I'm talking about this energy. Now, I'm not one of those guys that talk about energy, like, you know, there's a dark energy and a good energy and all of that. Not that. I'm referring to the energy that somebody exudes and pushes some positivity onto other people. Ammaarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Faizal.
I know you're probably wondering what was that intro about, but that is what it is. That is what it is to me. I'm trying to single out people that I think act as little beacons that just exude a certain amount of energy and positivity, and they draw that kind of thing to them. And I see that in you when we started talking. In actual fact, that first day you came strolling into my office, I was like, what's this woman on about? And then after 5 minutes, I realized that you had some personality, and then I realized that you had a personality, and then it was all happening. But be that as it may, you have a story to be told.
Well, I have quite a few stories to be told.
Yes, exactly. I want to find out about your life, and then we want to talk about how that may inspire other people to be entrepreneurs. I see that component. There are a lot of women sitting back, maybe stuck in a certain type of social, environmental bubble.
Yeah.
And you seem to have come out there as an entrepreneur doing what you do. And that's another story.
Yes.
So let's talk about who's Ammaarah.
Ooh, well, Ammaarah takes on different forms in different sort of situations.
So you're a bit of a liquid.
Yes, I try to be. I try to be all the time. But if you know Ammaarah on like a personal level, Ammaarah is this crazy, outspoken traveler that just tries absolutely everything.
You don't think you're manic though?
I don't. Okay. But what manic thinks they're manic.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So my mom would say like, I'm the master, well, I'm the jack of all trades, trying to be the master of it. But for me, I like to try different experiences, and bring whoever along with me for the ride. On a professional level, I am a chef. Food is my absolute passion. It's been my dream since I can remember.
I just want to break that down for a moment. I think that passion is food is a passion for many people, but on different levels.
Yes, correct.
Most of us, it's a passion because we're happy to sit and eat all day, so that's a passion too. But the passion that you talk about is different.
Yes, I believe so. Let me just tell you a quick story about my life. Since I can remember, my mom would celebrate absolutely every occasion with food. Whether it was a birthday, whether it was a report card day, or just
and that makes
Friday.
Your house very popular.
Correct.
Because people know, like, you know.
Yes, every Friday. It used to be lunch, but now that we're all grown up, it's dinner. And every Friday, the entire family comes together. And I have 5 siblings, and my mom with her brother comes over with his kids, so it's like a 25-man party every Friday at my mom's place. And since I can remember, my mom and my grandmom would cook this amazing meals for us to enjoy. And for me, when I would bring my friends over, when I would bring colleagues over, they would just be like, oh, I wish my family was like that. And I'll be like, God, they're all nuts. Yes. So what are you talking about? But when I sort of started studying food and sort of understanding food a little bit differently, I realized that is the experience of food that my mother created. And since I was that high, I wanted to create that experience. So not just serving food, but the love of food, that ambience, the whole setup, it's just a completely different experience.
So you are linking,
taught me.
You're linking the fact that your mother served food for everything, and it was a sort of prevailing constant in everything you guys do, to the fact that that's augmented into your love for food and
yes,
your future development of where food's concerned.
Correct, and even me as a person, and how it sort of changed me as a person, being in that environment and seeing that is the power that food has. Let me take you back to something that is very close to my heart. Virginia Woolf said that one cannot live well, one cannot sleep well, and one cannot do well if you haven't dined well. And to me, that sort of just sums up my entire philosophy of food. That is, if you cook with love, you provide food that feeds a person's soul. So in my mind, if it's food that's feeding your soul, it's feeding the purpose that you are living for, your goals, your dreams, and that is what food creates. So in an instant, it's like magic, don't you think?
So if I'm having, and most of my viewers know that I have a boiled egg now for breakfast every day with a cup of tea, and people are saying that it's really boring. And then you're saying that that's feeding my soul. I'm just trying to wonder. I have been called an egghead before. and that's probably where that came from.
Maybe the love of boiled eggs.
Yes, be that as it may. So what I notice about you is that you have this drive to succeed, and you maybe don't, I don't know how in touch you are with it from a cognitive point of view, but we see that in your behavior, that you are self-actualized. You have developed to a certain point where you appear to be very happy in your skin. It's not a potato skin, but because I know you love discussing potatoes, we're going to talk about that down the line. So it's got nothing to do with that, but you are self-actualized in terms of that you are successful in what you do, and you have this energy to do what you do. Where did that come from? Because people your age, and I'm not going to give the age away, but I'm saying, because I know what your age is, people your age are sort of still trying to find that balance. Today in South Africa, they worked out that this particular age, and now we might give it away to some people, is sort of in the balance of whether they're in a midlife crisis or not. Now, midlife crisis used to be 40 back in the day. Okay. Midlife crisis is no longer 40. Midlife crisis is near the 28 mark. Okay. And you are near the space. So I'm not saying what your age is, but be that as it may. So people's behavior has changed. That age tends to find themselves quite lost in working out what they want to do in life and feel the depressive aspects of life, the economy and that sort of thing. You on the other side, running wild, semi-manic in my view, and embrace all these things and is developing that space. Where did that come from?
Oh gosh, that's a deep question, eh?
It had to come from somewhere.
How do I answer that? For me, I believe that success is different for everybody.
So you don't find it as the car and the house?
No, not at all, because I don't have the car or the house.
But people see that as success, you know, the car, the house, and the job.
Well, that's why I say people have their own definitions of success. And to me, my success was having the ability to impact somebody else's life. Whether that was through food, whether it's through a conversation that me and you was having, or whether it's just by the perception of me. That sort of can motivate somebody and help somebody better their life. The perception of me and what it is they think I'm doing, you know. And to me, I feel successful even though I have my own house, yes, but I don't have a fancy, huge house or a fancy, fancy car. But to me, that didn't make me feel successful having that. It makes me good and knowing that I have my own house and it gives you good independence. But for me, I feel successful just because of what I have to offer other people.
I know that you're involved with, and just linking what you're saying to another matter, and that is I know that you're involved with some level of feeding schemes that's going on. And you talk about linking the assistance to other people to success, and that makes you feel successful.
Yes, correct.
So you got this project running on the side, yes. And then that's part of your success story. Tell us a bit about that.
Definitely. How's it going? Well, I have this MPO, it's called Trio. Trio, yes.
Where did that come from?
Teach, Transform and Triumph. That's what it stands for. Funny story of where it came from. This also takes me back to being a small kid. Me and my sister and my cousin, we were very, very close. Up till today, we're still close. We see each other every Friday. And what happened was we would play together every single weekend. And we came up with this crazy idea that we would own this business, and this business would be Trio, because it was the three of us. I'd be the chef, and my cousin would be the beautician, and my sister would be the hairdresser, and we would have the successful business. Our plan and Allah Ta'ala's plan wasn't the same plan. I'm the chef today, but they are, one's an administrator and the other one's a manager of quite a big brand. And we sort of didn't find that connection into what it is that we actually are doing with our lives compared to what we wanted to do. And I started this food scheme thing, and I started giving out this food, and I was handing out food, and I would get people to donate different ingredients, just my family and friends, in fact, just to donate different ingredients. And the last Ramadan, I got an insane amount of assistance, whether it was money, whether it was donations.
And where did that come from? The public?
From the public. And it was just people who knew my people, and it was just absolutely overwhelming for me. And when I walked into the place where we were supposed to prepare all this food, and I saw a room filled with sweets and chips and cool drinks, that gave me hope. That sort of was like, wow, I have faith in humanity. People can come together and make a difference, if they want to. And for me, that's sort of when I decided Trio needs to exist. It doesn't need to exist the way we would like it. We planned it. But it's something that the three of us could work together on and help and make a difference in our communities. I said, when I sort of saw this, because it was my sister's house, I walked in there and her house was filled with food, because I stay very, very far and her house was central, so everybody had just dropped off the stuff at the house. And when I saw that, I said, geez, guys, no, this is my kick in my bum, we're doing this. So they're like, doing what? I said, Trio. And they're like, huh? I said, remember this idea that we had that the three of us would do? I need your assistance. I have this amazing talent. I have this skill that I could help people and I could uplift them and I could give them a source of motivation and inspiration and a zest to actually want to wake up to do something that they love to do, and you're going to help me. And my cousin was like, how? I said, well, any organization needs a treasurer, it needs an administrator, and it doesn't need to affect our daily life. But it's something that
and in this case, you're dealing with food, so you could be the component that's actually administering the food component of it.
Exactly. So all they would have to do is just help me go and help other people with food. And they were like, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. And I said, cool, Trio it is. And that's basically how the organization started. Just by having to want to work together and seeing that the potential that our community has, and just a simple thing of just speaking about what it is that you're doing and having people want to, jump in on it. And that's basically why I'm sitting here today, is because somebody saw that this is the food things that we're doing,
Correct, yes. So tell me, so you go and you distribute something.
Yes.
And when you distribute what you've collected and what you've put together for a prospective person, that's the ultimate cause. It's that moment that you impart what you've put together. And you get a smile on somebody's face, and a child looks at you a certain way, and you withdraw and you think to yourself, you've done it. This is what you want to do.
It makes me happy.
And that's success.
Yes.
That smile is success.
Yes.
Right.
In fact, 2 Sundays ago, we did the drop-off. And every month we choose a different area. So I have about 6 trustees that has pledged every single month to give a certain amount of money, and we use that money to buy ingredients, as well as another 6 trustees that actually physically come and assist with doing the actual food preparation. And basically how it works is we just say, okay, today's your turn, where are we going? And 2 weeks ago we went to Hanover Park, because that's where one of the volunteers actually grew up. And as we were handing out the food, and people would come and they stand in a line and they like rummage all over one another trying to get the food, we noticed this one kid, and he looked like 45 centimeters high. He was just this small, and he was about 250 meters away, and he came with his bowl and his spoon, and he was walking in the middle of the street. And I noticed him, and
so he brought his own bowl.
He came with his own bowl. I don't even think he was 2 years old. He couldn't even say his name. And I noticed him and I said, hey guys, look at this. And he was walking all alone in the street. And a car would come and I see him running to the side. He goes onto the pavements, he stands and he waits. a car passes him, and he goes back onto the street, and he comes walking to us with his bowl and his spoon. And I think all of us at that moment in time knew that this is something that, like, we have to do more.
So that's one of the defining moments for you. Like, it's like, this is why I need to do what I'm doing.
Yes, this is the why. And I looked at my one chef, and she looked at me and she said, "Jeez, like, I want to cry." And to me it was like, like, this little bit of effort, like, it's 8 hours, 9 hours we actually took to actually put all the food together, prep it, cook it. And I've always imparted that. I've always imparted that we only serve food that we will eat. You're not going to serve anything that you wouldn't eat. So everything that we do it like we would do it for ourselves. And for me, when I make a curry, my curry must cook 5 hours because I want that melting, meaty sort of flavor. And that's what we do for them, you know what I mean? And that to me was just a defining moment. And my chef looked at me and was like, can't we do this every week? And I was like, get the sponsors and we will do it. Yes. And that's sort of now why I'm actually going out and I'm seeking donations and I'm seeking sponsorship from people, because we have the hands to do this. We have the ability to do this, you know. So if everybody can just help and volunteer and assist just a little bit, we would make a very, very big impact.
Just reflecting on that child that came off the road, that child is just an embodiment of a prevailing problem. And malnutrition is a big problem. So recently I read some stats that said that looking at Asia and sub-Saharan Africa, we look at 200 million children that are undernourished. Yes. 200 million is a big number. And the deficits from malnutrition is obviously cognitive disability. They don't want to go to school. I mean, it's obvious. If you're feeling hungry and moody for the day, where does school come into the so education becomes a problem. They have socio-emotional problems. So they develop with emotional problems as they get older. And then on top of it, they've got motor problems. So this means that the development of the body itself is a problem. But here you're talking about 200 million future adults.
Future leaders.
Yes, that are sitting with those three deficits due to malnutrition. And that's a big number. And so I think while the world is sitting by and deciding whether we want to talk about rockets and we want to talk about who has more power and who has more darts to throw and that sort of thing. So while all of that's going on, we have a very real prevailing problem.
Correct, yes.
And government is going to do what they can. And government can do what they want to for the statement that I'm going to make. And that is that they do things to get votes. And that's all that they focused on. Whether they're really doing it out of the bottom of the heart, that's another story altogether. And I'm referring to world governments. So the people that really make the change to the situation of malnutrition is people and organizations like yourself. You inject yourself into a system that is a failing system for government. And you make the change. But they're not the ones making the change. They're the ones quoting the figures of 200 million. But that's where it ends.
That's where it ends.
You know, so what you're doing, I think, is very noble, and I think that it plays a key role in what going forward. And I think that if 5 other people watching the show sitting in Johannesburg, Durban, or whether you're sitting in Kenya, wherever you are, decide to do the same thing as you're doing, that's the other part of your success, is to inspire other people.
Correct, yes. Well, that's what I hope. I could be a motivation and an inspiration to others, you know.
So what irks you off?
What irks me?
I decided to just bring you a bit down there and look at the other side. What's the shadow side of you?
Ooh, I'm so short-tempered, it's not even funny, eh?
No, really?
Yes, I'm very short-tempered.
And then what happens?
I think that if you... Well, then I'm
Please tell me this is not on the road while you're driving.
Oh, you don't want to see me on the road. In fact, you won't miss me. In fact, I have this really bright yellow vehicle, so you really won't miss me on the road.
And is this to warn other drivers? Or?
Yes, I'm coming.
Yes, okay.
Hot chef in transit.
Yes, okay.
But what irks me? Gosh, that's a really, really difficult question. There's a lot of things that...
We all have our pressure points, and we all have that button. Don't press this button because it's linked to self-destruction. And so I'm just trying to work out what's that button with you.
I think for me, just honesty. That's
So it's your appetite.
irks me. Yeah, it really just irks me. Oh my gosh.
And that's a good combination. When you're dealing with public funds and people that's giving you money for, and you have appetite for dishonesty, I think that's a great combination. Because
Okay, that sounds like it was sort of planned there.
other people in this country is not getting that. Dealing with public money and you don't have a button that's against
But
dishonesty.
I don't deal with the money, that's why I'm a treasurer.
Yes, but being in an organization, you've got access. And so other organizations and other big organizations
Yes.
in this country
Let's not mention names.
doesn't understand that you need to have that button installed when you
Yes.
deal with public funds.
No, that's
Because people trust you to do what you do. They trust you with their money.
Yeah.
All people cannot go out and do what you do, but they're able to say my contribution is $100, for example.
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're helping them and they're helping you to do what you do.
Yeah, in turn, I mean, for me, it's not about the $100. It's the fact that your $100 aids to feed 2, 3, 4, 500 people. And to me, this is something that every Muslim person should actually really concentrate on. Because for me, one of the hadith I really hold dear to my heart is that Allah Ta'ala says, if you save one life, it's like saving the entire mankind.
In conclusion, you've got a thing for potatoes, which I've worked out now. Now, there's this thing about potatoes going on at the moment where people are discussing potatoes because it forms a very core focal point of the carbohydrate world.
Correct.
And so we got Professor Tim Noakes on the other side, who probably catches these episodes and says that, no, that potato needs to come down. You, on the other hand, are a potato propagator. So I know that's a new term, I'm sure. But
That's the first time I hear that.
because I realized it this morning, like there's an organization that you belong to that is sort of the body for potatoes now.
Correct.
Now it's like, I first thought were potatoes being oppressed, that you guys came up with an NGO.
They were being oppressed by Tim Noakes.
So anyway, so to just form the balance, all right?
Yes.
We know that moderation is where we need to be
Key,
with anything
yes.
in life.
Balance is key.
What's your thought on the potatoes specifically? Just because you're so involved with potatoes.
What's my thought on potatoes? Potatoes is the healthiest carbohydrate on the market. Rice, pasta.
it comes to the weight aspect?
When it comes to the weight aspect, even so. Why I say potatoes is healthier is because it gives you a prolonged energy, meaning you can actually be with the person that you are meant to be longer than not eating potatoes. Potato is the highest, it's called a slow burning energy releaser, meaning that if you have it for breakfast, lunchtime it's still giving you energy. Whereas if you're having an egg for breakfast, yes, the protein in there still will give you energy, but it's not as much as potatoes would, you know what I mean?
But with carbohydrates, don't we see an increase in weight and then people are talking about insulin resistance and all those kind of things?
Well, that's where Tim Noakes comes in. Dr. Tim Noakes is insulin resistant, and that is why he came up with a banting diet that sort of brushes off potatoes.
So you don't brush off his opinion. You're saying that it's good for the diabetics.
Correct, yeah, it's good for the people that
people are
need
not.
it.
People are not finding that balance. People
That's
are simply
the
talking
problem.
about, they're not realizing that he is talking about insulin resistance.
That's the-
He's talking about predisposed diabetes, so that if you know that you're predisposed, then don't push up the level
Correct.
that much. So that's
Yes.
what he's talking about.
That's what
so
he's
again, we're
talking about.
referring to the balance.
And that's really, really important, having this, speaking about balance. People don't actually know what they eat. We eat just to eat. We don't actually think about what is the food doing to me. And that is what I believe is something that's my differentiating factor in how I can add value, is because I actually think about, what does an apple do? When it's cooked, when it's raw, when you eat it just like that, when you eat it in a salad, what does it do? And if we start thinking like that, we'll be able to actually balance the things that we're eating to give us a healthier lifestyle, a more energized lifestyle, and just a lifestyle that has way more value.
We know that you're starting a program very soon dealing with certain cooking aspects and dealing with cooking in a certain manner.
Correct.
And that's coming up soon. So I just wanted to mention that viewers can expect to see you back on the show to talk about the show that you're starting very soon.
Definitely. Inshallah, the aim of the show would be to educate and inform people about food, what it is that they're eating, how it comes about, what it can do, and the proper techniques on how to cook it. Because let's go back to potatoes. Potato chips are only unhealthy when you fry them wrong. If you fry them in the proper way and you know how to fry fried chips properly, it can become healthier. And basically that's where the problem lies, is just not getting the proper balance and not getting the proper technique on how to prepare our food. And that's why we're sitting with all the ailments and diseases that we have today, because people don't understand food. So this show is aimed at exactly that.
Ammaarah, thank you for joining me. We're going to be in touch with you soon, and we're going to get you back to talk about that show coming up. It's been a pleasure. It's been interesting, and I think it's been very energetic. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad. Thank you for having me.
Ammaarah Petersen, and she's talking about her life. And we even spoke about potatoes. Now that's something I've never discussed on a show before. So that's an indication of what you can expect to see on Ammaarah's show coming up soon on Dean TV. We're going to talk to you a bit about that in the future. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.